All right. Welcome. We are now live. Most of you will be watching this later on. I didn't realize I didn't do the episode 3 review. I'm shocked. Well, hopefully Disney won't block this one. Season 2, episode 3 of The Mandalorian, The Heir. Well, the mission continues where he's trying to transport this endangered species in their eggs. I just wanted them to get the eggs away from Baby Yoda. Because if he eats another egg, I'm going to lose it. So they get him to this planet, Trask, and she meets with the family right away. And it has remnants of something you've seen before. You see how they got this big robot to pull the other ships out of the water. And every place looks almost decimated. And then you got these things that look like Pirates of the Caribbean. And they're willing to take them to go meet the other Mandalorians. So right away, there's a problem. I mean, like immediately, there's a problem. He goes to this bar because actually the guy didn't know a thing of where they were supposed to meet, none of that. But that doesn't stop them from running into the Mandalorian. And once they ran into the Mandalorian, it was hell to pay. See, the Mandalorian, for those who don't know, was good as dead to rights. He got caught in a trap. Baby Yoda was thrown in the mouth of some monster and swallowed while in his shell. And these things were just trying to stab him in between. So far, this was the most action-packed scene that we've had. As we seen the general, played by my guy who always plays a bad character, he was leading the ship. He finds 3 Mandalorians that comes to save him. And one of them was played by the boss. And then there was a cameo from Phasma. But this seems to be years after. Like, we never really knew how long the First Order came along. And when they got in power, how they got in power. This is like immediately after the Death Star blow up, is where the Mandalorian takes place. So we're learning a lot of things that happen when a government falls down, especially an empire that ruled the galaxy. Now everybody else is running wild to govern themselves, and you have anarchy. So once you have that in place and installed, fear and all these other notions start to rear their heads. Now I know what you're saying. Where does that leave the rest of our, cast and everything else? Well, Mando has a very serious dilemma on his hands. See, Mando problem is this. He doesn't know who he's supposed to meet or where he's supposed to go, but he's supposed to deliver this child to a Jedi. Now, as the child keeps growing, well, as far as sense, we don't know how old he is just because he's little. Only thing that's going through our heads is we know it's force sensitive. We know it looks like Yoda. It's definitely Yoda's species. Where was this child in the Force Awakens? Good morning, Hubert. You the only guy to get through today. But where was this child in the Force Awakens? That would have been a very good, segue in. Child wasn't seen. I know that's the boss. That's Sasha. I said the boss, the legit boss. So anyway, this was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, and she basically takes kudos from her father. She likes payoff shots. You know, so all the little signs of affection and emotion with the dad and the wife, and them with the baby, and then having Baby Yoda kind of like redeeming himself with the kid as they see one of their first child's born. Well, it was quite interesting. So, Bryce directing this thing was incredible to me. I mean, I thought she took a lot of great visual shots, and I think this is probably where she's going to end up. After she get through with her Jurassic World adventures, she's probably done dropping babies. But mhm. Yeah, exactly. But anyhow, I've seen a lot of programs go a certain way where people forget or lose the identity of what the show is supposed to be about. The show is like normally a mission. And the fact that There's always a connected mission. There could be other out like side missions in the middle of the episode, and that's basically what it is. It's a quest. And every time you think you've completed a quest, it's a whole new quest, another season. And that's what's leading to the Mandalorian and the nostalgia that the fans get to see as it proceeds. It channels our intrigue. Hmm. Well, like I always say, man, you gotta when you make a series, you gotta have people engaged. People have to be absorbed in to find out what's really happening. People think that you cannot and have people that's engaging anymore. Like that doesn't exist. People are they crave for story. People think like, oh well, you got to have a bunch of explosions and stuff blowing up. No, it's more about story. You're gonna have some of that in the mission, but not a lot of it. If the story is very well written, this is gonna be so far my favorite episode so far has been my favorite episode has been the very first one, the Marshall. That was my first the favorite one so far. It was enough action, but it was more engaging and had way more detail, very well directed. I love that. This was a lot more visual shots, payoff moments, and I like that. But you kind of lost a little bit of the connection of the quest, just a little bit. It was more about nostalgia and payoff moments. That's where Disney went wrong with Star Wars. Definitely the Rise of Skywalker, which was the worst of the three movies. That was a colluded mess. Yeah, in the morning we're gonna do a live stream and go over the draft. I'm gonna just give people time to wake up. You know where you know now. I believe Detroit did very well in the draft, but we'll get to that. Um, it's a little different, it's a little different. So one of the so-called Mandalorians who are not a Mandalorian decided to take their helmets off. I'm like, man, are there any Mandalorians anymore? But she gives up the information and tells them as they're looking for the dark saber. but she actually gives them more than that. She gave them something that was way more valuable. She gave him where Ahsoka is. So now he's taking Baby Yoda to see Ahsoka. If wrestling is getting a union, that's the end of wrestling. Hmm. Well, you got to have your well, you got to have certain things in place for that, you know. Yeah, I know. We'll get to all of that, but I'm very excited and stoked for episode 4. Episode 4 is going to be a lot better. I think now it's getting to the juices. Now he's finna finally meet the Jedi and everything else, but they try to smooth everything over with Baby Yoda. And who knows what? See, that's the thing. It's so unknown with the Mandalorian. Who knows what this is going to lead to? You know, you don't know where this is going to lead to. That's a problem. I mean, not a problem, but that's a good problem. We don't know what's going to happen with those eggs and the kids, and when they're going to grow up to be. They might grow up to be something. It could be all these Easter eggs. This what keeps people engaged. So I'm all into it. But we'll see how it turns out.